Allow me to introduce to you my game log. The game log is very simply a spreadsheet that I use to track the games that I've played and the dates that I've beaten them. Through that general idea, I've managed to gain around 200,000 subscribers, followers, whatever, over on TikTok. And I get a lot of questions about the game log all the time, and it's going to be something that I'm going to start talking about over here on YouTube as well, so it's worth me making a video to just cover everything that there is to know about this log. So first of all, the log has existed since 2018, I believe, and the reason that I created it was because I spend a lot of my time gaming, and I think it's cool to know when you did things. Like, I like the fact that right now on the 3rd of April 2023, I could scroll back to April last year, or any of the Aprils for the last half a decade, and take a look at what I was doing at that given moment in time. It's incredibly satisfying to me to be able to see that. It might not make sense to you, but I enjoy it. A lot of people think that the point of the game log is to attempt to beat as many games as possible as quick as I possibly can, and that isn't true. My idea isn't speed. I like to say that I play like a normal person, or well, maybe an above average person, because I'm not exactly bad at games, but I'm not the best, and they're all single player games at the end of the day anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I play like the average person, just a lot more than the average person does. And because of that, I tend to beat a lot of games. For example, this year I crossed 400 games on the game log, and that's in 5 years. Around 67 of those were this year alone, and we're only at the beginning of April. Because of the game log, the way that I tend to play games is I will play an entire franchise in a row. So to list off a few franchises that I've played through this year already: Dark Souls, Devil May Cry, Prince of Persia, Resident Evil, Dead Space, Dead Island, Dead Rising. And I will only play one game until it is done. So I don't jump between different games, I play a game, and once the credits roll, that's when it gets put on the game log. Some people will ask, do I do side quests? What difficulty do I play on? And all that sort of thing. The answer there is it depends. And again, like a normal person, I will do an average amount of the side content. I don't aim for 100%, nor do I intend to speedrun a game just ignoring all of the side content. If something interests me, I will do it. If it doesn't, I won't. As a gamer, I quite like reward, and a lot of side quests in games don't reward you with anything, especially in a game where perhaps there is a skill tree and you are at the point where any extra skill points are going to be going towards things that you wouldn't even bother using in the first place. At that point, if the reward for a side quest is just more experience, I'm not going to bother. And when it comes to difficulty, I tend to play pretty much everything on the normal difficulty if it has a difficulty selector. Something to understand is a lot of older games didn't actually have difficulty selectors. So because I tend to play games that can go back to 25 years old, a lot of these things are just you play it as it is. But if it does have a difficulty selector, I tend to choose normal, unless it's the kind of game where the main character is supposed to be overpowered. If you are playing a character that is not supposed to be struggling, that is supposed to be just a god among men, then I think it can make sense to choose easy. So for example, a game like Prototype would make sense in that sort of vein, or a game like Star Wars Force Unleashed, where if the game is a game where you're supposed to struggle, then yeah, it shouldn't be too easy. But if the game is designed for you to be a badass, then it makes sense to be playing on an easy difficulty sometimes. But generally, amongst the majority of games, I will choose normal. Sometimes I will replay a game that I've played before. Again, because I tend to play so much, a lot of the games that I play are games that I've beaten before. When that happens, I tend to beat them quicker than a normal person would, which can be something that confuses people when I make videos on TikTok about it, because they don't understand how I can beat a game that took them 3 times as long as me. Or for example, there is a website called How Long to Beat. This website often gives an amount of time to beat a game based upon somebody's first playthrough, not their 5th playthrough, which for me, it often is. And if I do replay a game, it goes on the log again. The log is not supposed to be just the first time that I beat any game. It's just any game that I beat at that given moment in time. So if I beat the same game 5 times in a row, I will add it to the log 5 times in a row. An example of when that happened might be last year with Dishonored 2. After I beat it the first time, I went back and did New Game Plus as a completely overpowered character and just speed ran the game over and over again, so I kept putting it on the log. Each month going forwards, I'm going to make a game log wrapped video where, similar to the way Spotify does yearly, where it tells you what you spent your time doing and shows you what you did, I'm going to make a video where I go through the game log and show you guys what I played, give my thoughts on different games perhaps, and yeah. And the other thing that I'm going to do is something that I've been doing on TikTok for a long time, is I'm going to be posting shorts of me playing the games that I'm playing for the game log, and that will be good exposure for the channel. And then something I might start doing, I probably should start doing, is making standalone long-form review-based content at the end of each game that I play as an opportunity to talk about it a little bit longer versus the average TikTok video. Now let's talk about downloadable content. People will ask, do you do DLC? And again, apply the same logic as everything else. I will if it interests me. If it doesn't, I won't. In games where the DLC is considered a standalone expansion, so if we're talking, for example, Red Dead Undead Nightmare, then that will get its own game log entry. Another example might be Dishonored Death of the Outsider. But if it's a game where the DLC is just not standalone, so for example Borderlands, then I won't count it towards the game log and it'll just come under the same Borderlands game log entry once that is done. Some people may ask, how do I have the time to be playing games for as much as I do? Well, the answer to that is I'm self-employed. I have another business within fitness, and that sustains me well enough that I have enough free time to do what I enjoy doing. The gaming is one of my biggest passions, and it's half the reason why we're doing this YouTube thing as well. I'm trying to bring this passion to YouTube and see what we can make of it. It's going to be fun for me. Another frequently asked question is, do I go for trophies? Honestly, no, I don't even look at trophy lists. When it comes to trophies, I will get whatever happens naturally. I don't try to get all of them. People will complain that I don't platinum games or that I don't 100% games, but honestly, that wouldn't be fun for me. One of the most fun things for me is the fact that I get to experience so many different games through a year because of the fact that I play games the way that I do. It's fun to me to go from one series to another series and then be so vastly different. And I try to do that on purpose sometimes where, for example, if I've just played loads of first-person shooters, the next thing I'll try to play is like a third-person hack and slash. Or if I've just played a horror game that's very linear and short, the next game I try and play might be longer and open world. Some people ask, what system do I play games on? And honestly, the answer to that is all of them. I've shown off my setup a few times on TikTok. I should probably make a YouTube video about it, to be fair. But I have each of the systems. I have set up right now in front of me a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 3, a PS5, a Nintendo Switch, a 360, a Xbox Series X, and behind me, back here somewhere, I think it might just be out of shot, my PC. So I play games pretty much everywhere, which is why my gamer score or the amount of trophies I have isn't necessarily a very good qualification for anything because everything's so spread out. If I have first choice though, I will typically try to play things on my PlayStation 5 just because it is my preferred game case to collect, to be honest. Over there, you can't quite see it, but out of shot is my game collection. I'll have to do a video about that at some point too. I'm trying to fill up my PlayStation 5 shelf right now, so pretty much everything I buy is for the PlayStation 5. But when it comes to which system I play on, I have no preference. I'll just play wherever it is best. So for example, if I'm playing the original Max Payne games, they're best played on PC, so I'll play them on PC. If I'm playing something that suits console more, I'll play it on console. Although recently, to be fair, since I've been recording the gamelog videos, I have been prioritizing recording the consoles because I can play on my big screen TV versus my monitors in the background just because I prefer playing on the couch rather than at a desk. However, I am looking into getting enough cabling sorted so that I can play on my PC, on my TV. I'll work that out at some point. So honestly, yeah, I think that covers pretty much everything there is to know about the game log. If you've got any more questions, let me know, and in future I will do those videos where I talk about what I've played this month. I'm going to start posting the shorts soon of me playing the games as well. So there's going to be lots of content in general. If you've watched this far through, comment down below, game log. And if you haven't already, do click the subscribe button, do like the video, and I'll see you guys later.